We're not even a president or nothing. And we're here.
Billy Clinton defying a congressional subpoena, and Hillary likely to do so today. Comer saying contempt charges moving ahead. Should they have shown up? Should they be held in contempt of Congress? Some other folks have been thrown in jail for committing the same crime just recently.
And some lead the House Judiciary Committee. It's all weird ways that life has twists and turns. I know, it's crazy.
It's American politics. So we'll be talking about that today. We're going to be joined by Matt Sharp, Senior Counsel with Alliance Defending Freedom, regarding yesterday's oral arguments at the U.S. Supreme Court regarding men and women's sports. We're also going to talk the decline in enrollment numbers in Colorado public schools. Down, down, down they go. And then also in the 9 o'clock hour, Stephanie Hancock's going to join us. She's an Aurora City Council member now dealing with a City Council majority of socialists. And they had one of their first meetings on Monday night, and it got a little wild. So she'll be joining us live in studio.
It'll be interesting to talk to her about how it changed. I think very few times in your professional or private life do you experience a sea change like these things can occur. And this is something that is really interesting, where a bunch of conservatives used to be on the city council now have been replaced by a bunch of progressives. And what does that mean? I mean, that is an entirely different change. This isn't like the Broncos going from running a 4-3 defense to a 3-4. This is like the Denver Broncos deciding they're now going to be a pickleball team. It's completely different. There's a completely different strategy, a completely different way of setting up the players, and also a completely different perspective on the game we are playing.
Even the sheriff, or even the police chief there, going like, guys, this is going to make life harder on us. So we've got a lot to talk about today. It is a wild show. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Wednesday morning. 37 and cloudy as you get ready to listen to Jeff and Billy right here in Denver. Expecting a high of 54 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Colorado's AG Phil Weiser plans to create an online portal where citizens can report alleged misconduct by ICE agents. He announced the new portal Tuesday. Of course he did. The AG calls the conduct of some ICE agents outrageous. He added, no one is above the law, and there needs to be a way to protect the people of Colorado. Now, did he mean protect illegals in Colorado or citizens? The portal will launch on the AG's website next week. Is there a tab to report protesters who aren't protesting peacefully?
Yeah,
I don't think so. DJT says cities that provide sanctuary to illegal immigrants will lose federal funding. On February 1st, 47 said his administration will not make payments to sanctuary cities, claiming they protect criminals at the expense of American citizens. Yes, they do. Colorado Democrats prioritizing affordable housing, health care, of course, and education. In the upcoming legislative session, Senate President James Coleman says it's important to keep in mind the state is facing a budget shortfall.
It's not going to be easy, but we are required to pass a balanced budget, and Democrats and Republicans will have to come together to protect the services our constituents need.
The second session of the 75th General Assembly begins today. Colorado Republicans scheduled
Hold on to your wallets. Hold on to your guns.
There we go.
Here come the Democrats.
Let's go. Balanced budget. That's funny. They're scheduled to preview the upcoming session this morning over coffee and stuff, I guess. I don't know They bring coffee in there, Jeff. I'm not sure. Over 2,500 people have been killed by the Iranian regime in the crackdown against the massive protests sweeping the country. 47 is calling off meetings with Iranian officials as the deadly protests continue. DJT told Iranians help is on its way and to keep protesting. Iran expected to hang the first protester. Yes, hang the first protester involved in the movement.
Head on in there, Queers for Palestine.
Yeah, that's a good place. There you go.
They'll treat you just fine.
Now, those are leaders that you want. Absolutely. It's just the living conditions are so much better. Colorado leaders bracing for what a funding freeze to child care programs could mean for families and kids alike. Democratic Congresswoman Brittany Pedersen says if kids can't go to daycare, many parents can't go to work.
Colorado loses $1 billion in revenue because of lack of access to childcare, and 10,000 women have said that they would like to be in the workforce, but they can't afford childcare, and that has a huge impact on our economy.
The DJT administration put a freeze on funds for programs, claiming that Colorado, once again, as we talked about earlier, and several other states had widespread fraud. A judge has temporarily blocked the administration, but is requesting states provide records and documentation to justify the spending. All right, let's, you know what? It's early, but let's go. Time to destroy brain cells. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson on Tuesday. Boys and men and girls and women's sports. In case you missed it, this is just one of the sound bites.
This notion that this is really just about the definition of we accept that you can separate boys and girls, and we are now looking at the definition of a girl, and we're saying only people who were girl assigned at birth qualify. And
girls assigned at birth.
It is amazing to watch the left finally run up against the brick wall of reason.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And
Just
have to try to
sense.
explain this and be able to explain it in a way that we can put it into law.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, that's the Supreme Court.
And I would like to point out that while she is incredibly dumb there, as she regularly is, she still, even Ketanji Brown Jackson, saw that Jenna Griswold was an idiot.
Right. Great point.
Right? Like that's how stupid our Secretary of State is. That even those that cannot define what a woman is still go, Jenna Griswold, you're an idiot. 9-0 slapdown.
God, it's incredible, man. Just the knots and the tangled weave and the web that they got into yesterday. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Once again, I'd still rather have Mr. Rogers in the Supreme Court.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady.
Yeah. And then, you know what?
It used to be so simple.
Yes, it did. And, you know, we had sports for girls and not guys. That whole argument is just so ridiculous. NASA preparing for its first ever medical evacuation from the International Space Station. The 4 members of Crew 11 are expected to undock from the ISS later today, with splashdown set for Thursday morning off the coast of California. Mike Tomlin out as head coach of the Steelers. Looks like both parties agreed. Yeah,
wow, 19
seasons.
years. Any Super Bowl wins?
One Super Bowl win. Yeah, I think that was 2 years after he got the job. I think he was 35 when he got the job. I remember that. Never a losing season, but they were going to. I mean, it's a whole I'm sure they got together and said, look,
Time to
we're going to have
freshen
to do
it up.
something. Yeah,
Yep.
you need to make it look good. So he's stepping down, and he'll coach somewhere else soon.
I'm waiting for Gabe to text in here. Raiders!
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm sure Gabe would love Mike Tomlin. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Yep, so he is
I always
out
thought Pete Carroll was a creep after what he did at USC and then bailed as it all came crushing down.
Yeah, what's funny about all that, I mean, now they do, 100 times more, and it's cheered on. Yeah, that was a little weird. Let's see. Jamal Murray, 35 points last night. Nuggets over the Pelicans, 122-116. And the Broncos, by the way, they'll continue preparation for the Bills coming up on Saturday at 2:30 this weekend. Hopefully Billy's brother has his ticket and they're all ready to go and make their way into the Mile High Stadium for that one coming up this weekend. 35 in Aurora, 34 in Littleton, 36 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill on a Wednesday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Expect a lot of high and mid-level clouds today, but mild, upper 50s and lower 60s. There is a very small chance of a rain or snow shower tonight as a weak disturbance passes through, lows in the low to mid-30s. Partly cloudy, a little cooler, mid-50s Wednesday, low to mid-30s Wednesday night, 55 to 60 on Thursday. It will trend colder for Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday's highs back down into the 40s with overnight lows in the low to mid-20s. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Where's Billy Clinton? Fox News reporting former President Bill Clinton appears to have defied a congressional subpoena to appear before the House Oversight Committee on Tuesday morning. Here's a little audio.
Good morning. This is a deposition of former President William J. Clinton conducted by the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. On July 23, 2025, the Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement unanimously voted to approve a motion directing the committee to authorize and issue a subpoena to former President Clinton for a deposition. I'm going to note for the record that former President Clinton is not present.
Clinton was compelled to sit for a sworn closed-door deposition in the House bipartisan probe into Jeffrey Epstein. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer had threatened to begin contempt of Congress proceedings against Clinton if he did not appear Tuesday. Comer said Tuesday morning, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee to hold Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress. I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up, and I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. Comer told reporters after formally ending the deposition. No one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions. And that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. He said not a single Democrat showed up to the deposition on Tuesday. So they voted for it, but then didn't show up when Clinton didn't show up. Other lawmakers seen going into the committee room included Representative Boebert, Biggs, Cloud, Burchett, and Perry. Committee Republicans posted videos on YouTube and X later on Tuesday showing an empty chair with the placard reading William J. Clinton in front of it. But the Clintons did have a response. They sent a letter from their attorney saying the subpoenas issued to President and Secretary Clinton are invalid and legally unenforceable. Mindful of these defects, we trust you will engage in good faith to de-escalate this dispute. President and Secretary Clinton have already provided the limited information they possess about Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, did that include the videos of him swimming? They did so proactively and voluntarily, and despite the fact that the subpoenas are invalid and legally unenforceable, untethered to a valid legislative purpose, unwarranted because they do not seek pertinent information and an unprecedented infringement on the separation of powers. Just a reminder that Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, convicted and jailed for defying January 6th committee subpoenas, should Bill and Hillary Clinton face at least an investigation from the Department of Justice as to whether or not to try them for ignoring the subpoena from Congress. Bill, your thoughts?
I think that we need to decide if these congressional subpoenas mean anything at all. Do they have any sort of teeth behind them? Is there any sort of a reason for people to show up? Because over the previous decade, and before that, but it's become really bad, in my opinion, over the last decade, people just decide to ignore them all the time. People from both parties.
But the only ones that go to jail are Republicans, right? Eric Holder didn't go to jail. Merrick Garland didn't go to jail.
Recently, but again, you'd have to go and take them to court and other things. That would be the idea, is they've been cited for noncompliance, but you'd have to go through the trial. So the idea is,
and they decided not to go through the trial.
So the idea is, do you have the courage of your convictions? If you don't go to trial, then what's the possible recourse for not showing up for the congressional subpoena? I mean, I agree with you. Merrick Garland ignored. Yeah. And so
Eric
Eric
Holder did too.
Yeah. And what happened to him? Nothing. So what does it tell you about the necessity to listen to a congressional subpoena?
I mean, it says that Democrats are willing to weaponize the DOJ to go after their opponent.
Well, and hang on, it's like weaponized because you have, I mean, did Jim Jordan get charged? Andy Biggs? Perry? They all ignored subpoenas from congressional subpoenas. They've all ignored them. They weren't charged with anything. So the idea, I disagree with the idea that it's only Democrats that are weaponizing. No, the issue is nobody on either side really has the courage of their convictions. If they really feel that these congressional subpoenas are super important and need to be obeyed, you take people to task, and you do it when you're in charge. But when someone like Jordan, McCarthy, Biggs, and Perry cry giant crocodile tears that Bill Clinton doesn't show up when they themselves ignored congressional subpoenas, I have nothing. I have nothing for you because none of you care. None of you. I got no problem with charging either a Republican or a Democrat for not showing up for a congressional subpoena. The issue is neither side wants to because they know they want to have the ability to ignore it themselves. This is a game. This is a parlor game that they play on us to pretend that they're actually trying to do something.
Are you sure that Comer's ignored a congressional subpoena?
Jordan, McCarthy, Biggs, Perry were the ones that I said.
Okay.
Yeah, not Comer. Jordan.
Comer.
Yeah, I don't think Comer has. But Jim Jordan's head of House Judiciary. And he ignored a congressional subpoena. And McCarthy, Biggs, and Perry, right in that article, were crying crocodile tears. Oh, I can't believe they didn't show up. They ignored subpoenas themselves. So if you're going to sit on the committee and you're going to demand people show up for subpoenas, you probably need to yourself. I'm just saying. And so if both parties took it seriously, then we should take it seriously. Neither party takes it seriously. It's all performative, and it's meant to stir up political animosity. Because again, if you cared, you'd hold them responsible. And I hold that on the Biden administration as well. Yes, they nailed Steve Bannon. Yes, they got Pete Navarro. Wasn't all of them, and it wasn't the bigger fish. They took smaller fish to make a point, a political point, not an enforcement point, because they didn't care. Same thing. I think it's absolutely horrible that a former Attorney General, Merrick Garland, ignores a congressional subpoena. That is ridiculous. And we do nothing to him. Censure you. So what? We don't care. And until Congress wants to take it seriously, I'm not taking it seriously. I'm not taking any congressional subpoena seriously because they, at the core, don't take it seriously.
So what should we do? Should we take it seriously or not?
I would.
Yeah, if you ignore it, you are going to be prosecuted no matter what?
Yeah.
So there's no discretion upon the DOJ.
Well, again, I think there's going to be some discretion to the DOJ, but the issue being, do you want these things enforced and do you want them complied with? And if you do not enforce the law, you're not going to comply with it. And there's a really easy thing. Okay, let's talk about the Aurora Autobahn, which is basically the stretch of 225 that runs from I-70 to Parker. That is the Aurora Autobahn. There is no reasonable speed limit there because there's never a speed trap. There is nothing preventing you from going 125 down that stretch of road. They just ran a story in the last 72, well, maybe not 72 hours, probably in the last week, about speeding on regular residential roads. They put up some speed cameras to figure out if we are actually speed demons on some residential roads. There were a couple in Aurora where they have a speed limit of 30 or 35 and they're clocking people and nailing 100 on a residential street that has a speed limit of 30. But there's never anybody there, so what's the reason for anybody to not go 100 miles an hour, possibly kill someone driving that car? Nothing. Because there's no consequence for it. No consequence for speeding on the I-25, on the 225 Autobahn. So why would you ever slow down? Why would you ever?
So it seems like we're both admitting that the power to investigate in Congress is almost politically motivated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, the minute you get Trump the Democrats elected this next cycle into the House, if they get the majority, that's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to sit for 2 years and it's just going to be impeachment proceedings.
Yeah.
And Republicans will ignore congressional subpoenas, but because Trump runs the DOJ, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, not at all.
And we're just going to sit there.
Oh, yeah. This is the parlor game we play, honestly. And this would be the Jeff and Bill parlor game. If the Republicans lose the midterms, what is the first impeachment over? Not if. It's a matter of what.
And
choose the subject.
I tried to ask Tricia.
Yeah, exactly. Choose the subject. And Tricia, if she's there, may not be voting for that. And that's okay, but there's more than enough of them that will. Absolutely. Trump will absolutely be impeached again. The only question is for the betting line in Vegas is over what? Is it going to be Venezuela? Is it going to be Iran? Is it going to be trying to manipulate the federal bank? What is it? It's coming. It just got to
be
pick what
for
it
a middle
is.
finger to a Ford factory worker.
That was shocking too. I was like, for me, it was so petty. It was so, the thing for me is at that point, it's like the Ford factory worker, he won. He won. He got so far.
No, not in conservative social media world.
I know they didn't, but here's the idea. What did he get? He got a reaction from the president. And he got a reaction from the president that is outside the bounds of what you would assume a president would do in public. That is a
not
win.
Donald Trump, man. That was right out of Manhattan.
No, that's a win. That is a win. That is a win for the heckler. Because I
totally disagree.
You got so far.
Totally disagree.
How's it? Okay, let's walk through that. Why is it a win?
What's the name of the heckler?
I don't know.
Nobody knows that.
No, but again,
all they know is that he was heckled. And DJT looks like a Manhattan thug.
How? Why?
F me, F you.
That really
with a little birdie.
Think about this.
Alongside.
Think about this. Yesterday, I was driving down the road yesterday. I have no idea why, but this dude in this beat up car goes up next to me for whatever reason. I don't know. I did something. He waves his hand out of the window and gives me the middle finger.
Did something?
Did he win?
He knew exactly who you were. He was going, I'm going to find Bill.
But the issue is, did he win? because he threw the middle finger at me. Even if I had done something to him, does that make him the winner in that exchange, or does it actually make me the winner because I got to him so deeply that he had to wave a middle finger outside the window? I don't know what I did, but I win that encounter. If I can get you to a point. I don't think
so. You can't even name who the guy is. No one's going to remember this guy in
No, it doesn't matter. It's the reaction.
5 minutes, but everyone's going to
Oh, it doesn't matter.
TJT.
No, it's the reaction.
Shouted back and gave the guy the middle finger.
It's the reaction. It's the fact that you were able to break it to the point where he was so upset that he had to give you a middle finger. Yeah, the guy wins. The guy wins.
I disagree.
Oh, the heckler wins.
All right, join the conversation. If you like 303-696-1971. I think there were 3 issues in there. 3 issues. 1, the president's response to the heckler. 2, the subpoena of Bill Clinton defying Congress, and Hillary will likely do it today. Should they be brought up on contempt charges? Or is it only Republicans that get to go to jail when they defy congressional subpoenas like Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon? Should there is this a way now for Trump to actually put Hillary in prison? He threatened to in the first term. Could this be it? And then I think there was a second issue we were discussing, or third issue we were discussing there. But we're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah,
it's the 6 a.m. hour.
It is.
All right, let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis is the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551 or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. Bill and Hillary Clinton defying congressional subpoenas. Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon went to jail for it. Is this how Trump finally puts Hillary behind bars? And would Bill survive in the clink with Hillary there? You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill. What is Bill Clinton hiding? Right? That's how it works. If you don't show up and answer questions, you're clearly hiding something. He refused to show up yesterday to a congressional subpoena. Hillary Clinton will refuse today, according to a note and letter that they sent. Comer saying he's going to move forward with contempt charges. Is he right to move forward with contempt charges, Mr. Thorpe?
Yeah, sure. Again, I got no problem with moving forward with contempt charges on anybody that ignores a congressional subpoena if we are going to decide they mean something. If we aren't, then who cares? But if it's only going to be I'm going to subpoena and then prosecute those people on the other side of the aisle from me politically, then it's just pointless because it just simply becomes a political prosecution. And that's going to be the problem contained therein because I can't figure out how it doesn't become political, only because most of the time those committees will be subpoenaing their political opponents. So I don't know how it doesn't become that, and the only way it can't become that is just by universality, that everybody who ignores it gets prosecuted. That's it. That's the only way you can prevent this from happening is a universal enforcement, but I don't think anybody listening to the Jeff and Bill show should hold their breath for a consistency coming out of Congress.
In politics?
There's no way.
No, we have lawmakers that are drunk and drive their cars into the back of other people and kill themselves in Colorado.
Yeah, so there are problems. So that's the issue. I don't have any faith in doing it, but I got no problem in them going ahead and doing it. I got no problem. I just wish it was more universal. I wish they would go after everybody because I think when Congress issues you a subpoena, you should go. But we've decided it's merely a suggestion.
Do you think though that it rises to the level of criminality? I guess that's why we have the Department of Justice and there'll be a trial, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't just want people throwing their political opponents in jail. But it seems like we're getting to that point right now.
Yeah.
At least Republicans are spending time in jail and Democrats getting control.
I think it has to be a level of criminality because I'm not certain that if it was a civil enforcement that it would work because I think it becomes too easy. But we could also talk about it just being a civil enforcement. But do you then put someone in prison or jail based on a civil crime? I'm not certain we can do that. So that's why I think it has to be at a level of criminality. Otherwise, you can't detain them if it's only a fine. Oh, gosh, gee, we've seen how Congress levies fines and basically you're going to turn around and go, oh, yes, Bill and Hillary, you guys didn't show up for the subpoena. We are going to fine you $500. Don't do this again. And they're not going to care because they can find that in the bottom of the SUV that they are driving around in, and it will be all in silver dollars and quarters and those old Pocahontas quarters we used to have for dollars. And so that's what it'll be. So that's the idea.
Do you think, though, that it's a mark of our society continuing to fall apart and bifurcate that Congress has the power to investigate, but now they just basically use it to go after political opponents?
Now,
like, it doesn't really seem like the investigations are really into, fraud, for instance. It seems like that whatever side gets control, we're just going to kick down doors and investigate our political opponents to find anything that we possibly can. And I think Republicans are learning to do this, but Democrats do it at a whole different level. Like, until the FBI's raiding Bill Clinton's underwear drawer, Hillary Clinton's underwear drawer for, documents, then I don't think we're at the same level yet. But I mean, Democrats are going to get control of the House, and it is going to be all out investigations against political opponents, just nonstop.
See, I disagree with you that Republicans are just learning. Republicans have been at that, prosecuting political opponents for years and going after them. And I'm just talking decades. I'm not even talking recent. We can go back to the McCarthy hearings. So the idea of going after political opponents and using lawfare is not anything new, and it was not anything that was recently invented by either the Republicans or the Democrats. I think the problem is that Congress has devolved into a political circus on a level that most listeners of the Jeff and Bill show have never seen in their life, with a few exceptions. There are a couple of exceptions in which Congress became a complete circus. but they seem to have abdicated their entire responsibility for legislation and oversight. They seem to have forgotten that they are supposed to be a co-equal branch of government, and instead they seem to just be kind of a weekend garden party, kind of an organization. They don't show up, they don't work a lot, they don't really have any interest in serious oversight or investigation, and it seems to be all about politics, that we are going to do these investigations based on politics. I understand we're doing the Bill and Hillary thing based on Epstein files, but is it strange that people may or may not have noticed that all the subpoenas coming out of the Republican Congress right now are for Democrats on the Epstein files? How come there are no Republicans?
I mean, well, in part, can you make the argument now that the Democrats are the ones stopping the release of all the details regarding what Jeffrey Epstein did? I mean, they just had some questions. Republicans had questions to a dude that was swimming in Jeffrey Epstein's pool. We have the pictures. We know he's been on the flights. We just wanted to ask some questions. We wanted to get to the bottom of this. Is it Bill Clinton who's now the pedophile protector?
Well,
according to the guy that was shouting at Donald Trump yesterday.
The thing is that Bill Clinton or Hillary showing up or not showing up to the congressional hearing has no bearing on whether or not the Department of Justice should release the documents. And they're actually days overdue from when the law told them they were supposed to. And they're still, all of them still aren't there.
That's just one aspect. Documents are one aspect. We're trying to get to the bottom. We want to talk to the people that were there. And Bill Clinton's now not showing up. Is he blocking us from getting to the truth to what happened with Jeffrey Epstein?
Here's the thing, and the thing is, I don't think Congress is doing actual serious investigation. It's political performance. And if we were trying to get to the truth and get to the bottom, then you just release the documents. You don't come back in and say we need to interview people that we have all of this stuff and this information already about.
Why not do it all?
You release the documents. But remember, this is also the same Congress that during Biden's administration sat there, and they were always days away from unveiling that connection with China and how Joe Biden was actually a Chinese agent, and we had the checks, and we're going to show you. And how many times over the Biden administration did we hear James Comer or Jim Jordan say, "Oh, we're getting to the bottom of this. This is shocking. This is you will not believe what we have proven now," and nothing came of it because they didn't have anything, and that's the issue.
Oh, Bill, they didn't have anything when they impeached Trump the first time either.
I'm not certain about that.
We had a phone call, perfectly fine phone call.
It wasn't a perfectly fine phone call because Donald Trump basically told Zelensky that you need to open up a fake investigation on Biden or I'm not releasing these funds.
Investigation. His son's out there collecting checks like it's raining.
It's not, but that timeline, I mean, we can go back to the Ukraine timeline, and it's not borne out by any sort of facts or figures. And that was the problem, is that inside of the phone call, Donald Trump said they needed to open the investigation, and he wasn't concerned about any results of the investigation. It was the announcement he was looking for, not the investigation itself. That's where the impeachment comes in. The Democrats did a horrible job of explaining exactly what that was about.
We're impeaching a guy because of an announcement of an investigation. All right, high crimes and misdemeanors.
Well, that could be a high crime or misdemeanor, but remember, he's saying that he's going to withhold funds unless another country announces an investigation into his political opponent. That's the issue. Now, do I think it was impeachable? No, I don't think it was impeachable. I do think the Democrats were playing loose with that one. I think they did a bad job of making the case. But what he did was he asked the leader of another country to open a fake investigation on his political opponent. That seems to be significant. Is it an impeachable offense? We can all debate that. I'm not certain it is. I am not convinced it is.
The second 2 years of Donald Trump's administration was the Democrats launching fake investigations against political opponents. Jason in Denver texting in, like PTSD is bad from war. Imagine the PTSD of an FBI agent would get from raiding Bill and Hillary Clinton's underwear.
That's funny.
That is funny. All right, let's talk the gun room, folks. If you listen to me for any amount of time, you know I care deeply about freedom, responsibility, and supporting local businesses that have stood the test of time. That's why I want to tell you about the gun room. The gun room has been Denver's oldest firearms dealer since 1982. And when you walk in, you feel it. Real wood, real craftsmanship, a shop that actually looks like a gun store, less plastic, more tradition. They buy, sell, and consign any and all firearms from antique and vintage to hunting and tactical. They do something the big box stores never will. They work closely with families who've lost a loved one and need help handling a gun collection with care and respect. Inventory changes daily with over 1,000 firearms in stock. So if you're thinking about buying, especially with new restrictive laws coming, and you guys know with Democrats in charge and Jared Polis in the governor's office, it's just going to get worse. They're going to find some other way to get the guns out of your hands and make the government have the only people with guns. So act now. Support local. Support family-owned. Support freedom. Wayne is a great guy. I got a chance to hang out with Wayne and Susanna over the weekend. They love the Lord. They love this country. They're working to allow you to arm yourselves and protect your family. And there's a lot of gun shop owners that are heading out, and I don't blame them, going to states where it's easier. But these guys are sticking around, so it's worth supporting them. Visit denvergunroom.com, denvergunroom.com, 303-237-1300, denvergunroom.com. That's The Gunroom, a Colorado original. All right, text messages coming. Oh, they're still debating you over in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you want to debate Bill
over
Minnesota still, there's plenty of text messages going on.
Yes.
It's a never-ending debate. All right, we'll continue. We got You Choose the News coming up, plus ADF joining us in the 7 o'clock hour regarding yesterday's Supreme Court decision. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy, this is a good text message from Mary that I've been thinking about. Like, she's talking about how many documents they have to review regarding Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm like, the government has that many documents?
Oh, yeah. They found like an extra million the other time. Yeah.
An extra million.
Oh, yeah, extra million.
Like, what? What is going on?
Yeah. The other part is that what I'm surprised with is the idea.
How many documents are there on you and me?
Oh, for me, I'm sure it's huge. I've probably got a closet full of stuff. I mean, I know I've got a giant file at corporate headquarters. So the thing for me is
That's
that...
true. There's a lot of letters.
There is a lot of letters. The thing for me is that I can't figure out, what do you mean reviewing them now? Huh? I'm sorry. I anticipated that our government, regardless of who was in charge, had a process or procedure in place to already be going through the files. The fact that we do not have a synopsis or some sort of an analysis of these documents, to me, says that both parties have zero interest in holding anybody accountable connected to the Epstein issue. Because if they were serious about this, those documents already would have been analyzed. They already would have gone through them, and they would have, surprise, just found a million extra files sitting over here in that cubicle that Ron used to use. I mean, what the hell?
I know.
What's going on?
Well, speaking of what the hell, let's get to You Choose the News.
Yes, it's that time of the morning where we play everybody's favorite fake radio news game show. You Choose the News. You know how this works. I scour the interwebs for mere moments for these stories right here in my hands. I give them even more ridiculous headlines so that we get to play this fake radio news game show with Jeff and Blake Olson. Why would we waste valuable KNUS airtime at this time of the morning? Because those in charge are not awake yet. So when left unsupervised, Jeff and I will take full advantage. But we also learned very good things from when we were younger, and that is always have a fall guy. I mean accomplice. I mean a partner. Yes, that's the role that Blake Olson gets to play, as far as he knows. Okay, and so this is what we're going to do, gentlemen. I'm going to read you the headlines. You get to choose. Here we go. Choose carefully. Blake, Jeff, headline number 1, value shopping. Headline number 2, shh, it's a secret. Headline number 3, what goes up? Meme edition. And headline number 4, is it prescription strength? Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Is it prescription strength?
Yeah, is it prescription strength? That is the question that each and every one of us should be asking after a recent NFL playoff game. Why? Well, you might have seen when the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, were eliminated recently by the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers moving on to the NFC divisional round coming up this weekend, but they will be without star tight end George Kittle. Nope, he will not be joining them because during the game with the Eagles, he suffered a season-ending knee injury. He said it's going to be hard for him not to be able to pull with his team in the playoffs, but he did receive just a little bit of what some are calling possibly irresponsible medical attention after the injury. Story goes that after the injury, while he was recovering, that he received a very special gift, a bottle of Patron tequila from the 49ers owner, Jed York. A particularly very strong bottle of tequila that Mr. Kittle proceeded to chug immediately. Yes. While he's suffering from the knee injury, he was given a bottle of tequila that he downed. I have a lot of respect for you, sir. I think that's fantastic.
This was after he came off the field?
Yeah, when he's back in the locker room, they gave him a bottle of medical tequila.
Gotcha.
And they're saying it was medicinal. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Definitely.
I like that. I like the medicinal tequila.
That's a good owner.
I think it's wonderful.
That is a good owner,
it's
too.
A great owner.
And him a pack of Marlboro Lights, too.
Here's the thing. Okay, now you guys have watched soccer. There's a thing when the soccer people are playing with the injuries, and they have something there called the magic spray. It's a spray bottle that comes out, and they go, psh, and all of a sudden, wow, I can run. My broken leg is healed. This is amazing. It's like in Star Trek. The doctor gave me a pill, and I grew a new kidney. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Maybe this is what we need. We need
magic spray.
Yes, we need the medical tequila. The guy at least jump out there, and he's got, it's like he's got like a holster, and he's got, he's got little shot glasses in the front of his belt, and he runs out there when the guy's laying on the ground. They bring him up, and he's like, all right, it's time for a shot of medical tequila. And he brings it out and give it to him, and bang. All right, back in the game. You could sell it. There's a sponsorship opportunity there. There's T-shirts. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
there's an opportunity
that's a good
here.
idea.
Yeah, see? That's what we need to do. Patron, the medical tequila of the NFL. That's what we can do. We're solving problems here. Okay. Blake,
Absolutely.
value shopping, it's a secret, or what goes up, meme edition?
Let's go with value shopping.
Value shopping, yes. It appears a lot of Colorado hunters have gone value shopping thanks to Title 33 of Colorado's revised statutes. How does that possibly make any sense? Here's the deal. The Pitkin County Board of County Commissioners have figured out that there is a weird loophole in Title 33 of the revised statutes when you are illegally hunting. Now, the problem is that if you are illegally hunting on public land, what happens to you? Currently, because of Title 33, you get fined by county code and you get to keep the animal. That means that in some situations, paying the fine for hunting illegally is cheaper than getting the license. So hunters in Pitkin County have been value shopping, figuring, I don't need to get that elk license. I can just shoot me an elk, and if they catch me, it's cheaper because I get to keep the animal. It's crazy. Now, Eagle County is proposing some punishments that would basically, okay, here's the issue. The loophole is public land the same as private land? There are some very severe penalties for hunting on private land, but how do you define what is publicly owned? And that's the question in and around Eagle County, is how those public lands are defined. Are they owned by the federal government? Are they owned by local government? Is it city? Is it state? And without knowing, basically, all you get is a county code fine. Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
I love that loophole.
What I love is I love the fact that the hunters figured it out.
Yes, exactly.
That's the part. I'm not.
Absolutely.
I hold the lawmakers responsible for the dumbassery, but good job on you for figuring it out. Absolutely. Okay.
These aren't Elmer Fudd out there.
Yeah, not at all. Not in the least. Okay, Jeff. Final choice this morning, sir. Shh. It's a secret, or what goes up? Meme edition.
What goes up? Meme edition, please.
Yes, what goes up? Meme edition. You may see that recently New York City Mayor Eric Adams had former mayor, launched a wonderful idea that he said was going to help the city he used to be in charge of. He said this is a way that it's going to fight anti-Semitism. It will promote innovation in the city, that it is going to be one of the best investment vehicles around, oh, crap. Well, it's gone. Well, that was quick. Here's the deal. Yesterday, the New York City token was launched by New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Pitched as a project to fight anti-Semitism, promote innovation. They launched it yesterday morning. It briefly reached a market cap of $580 million.
Wow.
Before it crashed. Spectacularly. It crashed within a morning. Analysts actually flagged some suspicious liquidity activity. There's an argument out there that Mayor Adams was involved in a rug pull. And that means people get in very, very early while the price is rising, or even get access to early purchases of the meme coin. And then when it starts rising, dump all their shares, which then hurts value, crashing the value of the coin. See Trump and Melania coins for an example. Pretty much what happens. Again, these meme coins are just a joke. They're not actual currency. You can't do anything with them.
It's like those NFTs when
exactly.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
You're going to go invest in something that someone just right clicks on?
Oh, yeah.
And saves?
Yep. Within 30 minutes, the price went from 47 cents to 10 cents. Millions of dollars in liquidity were just absolutely drawn out of there. It's the idea. This is the crazy part, is in these meme coins, you are better off investing in Pokemon cards. They have a better retention of value than these meme coins do. It's absolutely stupid. And the fact that Mayor Adams started a meme coin as some sort of a fundraiser, again, double dumbass on you, Mayor Adams. That was ridiculous. That's the end of Even Choose the News. Back to you,
But
Jeff.
did he make any money on it?
I'm sure he did, because he knew. Yeah, that's the rug pull. Ta-da!
Coming up next, Jeff and Bill launch their meme coins.
Yes.
We need a vacation.
Yes, we do.
Trip to
and a
Maui.
new car.
You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.